We'll now call the meeting of the Waco City Council on October 7th, 2025 to order at 3:01 p.m. Welcome to the work session of the Waco City Council. Nice crowd in here today. Welcome to all the people gathered here. I'm joined on the dais here today by our council members, Isabel Lozano, Josh Borderud, Darius Ewing, George Chase, and Mayor Pro Tem Andrea Bearfield next to me to my immediate left. Also joined on the adjacent dais by our senior city staff. We have Deputy City Manager Deidre Emerson running the meeting today over here. We also have Kristen Hamilton-Karam, our city attorney, and our city secretary, Michelle Hicks. A full house here today. This is great. We're going to start the meeting today with a moment of silence. All right, first item of business today is a recognition of work session speakers. Is there anyone present who'd like to speak on a work session agenda item? City Secretary Hicks, do we have anybody signed up?
No, Mayor, we do not have any speakers.
We have no speakers this afternoon, so we will now recess the regular session and convene into work session with a report from Deputy City Manager Emerson.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. You're right, we have a full house here today. We've got some special guests in the audience with us. And so I just want to take a minute to do an employee recognition. Since the last council meeting, our Parks and Recreation team has ensured 2 great experiences for 2 great projects in South Waco. First, the official unveiling of the South Waco mural, a vision of the Cesar Chavez Neighborhood Association that celebrates Texas Hispanic heritage and local contributions. And second, the groundbreaking for the Alice Martinez Rodriguez Park, a $25 million investment into an all-inclusive park, a legacy project honoring former Councilmember Alice Rodriguez and other Hispanic leaders and their unwavering dedication to the community. We look forward to seeing this project be completed in late 2026. And then for more than 30 years, the City of Waco has observed National Night Out. Due to a special presentation scheduled for this evening's business session, we will respectfully ask Mayor Holmes to present the National Night Out proclamation during today's work session to ensure that we properly recognize this important community event. So Mayor, if we can get the National Night Out team, community team down and the issuance of the
Detective McGruff, I will meet you down at the podium.
Mayor and Deputy City Manager, is it okay if those of us who grew up with McGruff, just in our hearts, could go down there as well?
Absolutely. It's your time to shine.
Appreciate you. You're the best. Thank you for your service. We have a celebrity among us today, right here. I really appreciate the National Night Out. It's a special night for the city each early October where we do this National Night Out Day. And it's really a combination of neighborhood associations and neighborhoods which have been strengthened materially over the last 5-6 years with Millette Harrison. Is Millette with us today? Millette's not here, but I'm so proud of the neighborhood associations and the strength that we have throughout the city. I think there's 22 individual neighborhood associations that really activate neighborhood care and neighborhood progress. And to have that matched with our public safety and our police department. We've got the best police chief in the world with Chief Victorian and in the best police department in the world. And you know that, and I'm so proud to say this, we have the lowest crime rate in over 30 years. So which is really, we can thank the synergies, the way I see it, the synergies of the neighborhood associations who care about the neighborhoods and the police department, who care to listen to the neighborhoods and interact. Our relational policing is at an all-time high. So I want to just add that in addition to having McGruff here, who's been a childhood hero of mine. So I'm glad you're here today. So with that, I'll read the proclamation. I, Jim Holmes, by virtue of the authority invested in me as mayor of the city of Waco, Texas, do hereby proclaim October 7, 2025 as National Night Out Day in the city of Waco. So let's hear it. And I urge all citizens to join city council, city staff, and me, along with the Waco Police Department, in observing America's Night Out Against Crime. National Night Out is a nationwide campaign that promotes strong relationships between police and the communities they serve. This initiative encourages neighbors to connect, to build trust, and to work together to make our neighborhoods safer and more united. On this day, we recognize the dedication of community members and neighborhood groups who partner with law enforcement to prevent crime and to build a sense of shared responsibility for public safety. Whether by hosting block parties, organizing local events, or simply reaching out to connect with neighbors, residents are playing a vital role in shaping safer, more vibrant communities. We invite everyone in Waco and the surrounding areas to turn on their porch lights, step outside, and join in this collective effort to strengthen community bonds and stand together against crime. In testimony whereof, witness my hand in the seal of the city of Waco, this 7th day of October, 2025, and is signed by all the members of council. So thank you very much. A few words, please? Yes, sure. Fantastic.
Thank you, Mayor Holmes and council. Thank you to our city manager's office, City Manager Ford, and our city manager's leadership team, our team, and Miss Candace Cruz, who has led this effort. We are visiting 25 neighborhoods on tonight. That's how many signed up for us to come and visit, and we're excited about that. And we hope that, after council, you guys have an opportunity to go out to your neighborhoods, meet your neighbors, and just continue this just wonderful tradition that we have of National Night Out here in Texas. So thank you again for our proclamation, and we'll see you guys tonight. All right, thank you.
Mayor, before you go too far, do you mind staying there just for a second, please? We've noticed that we have our customer engagement team in the audience with us, and so would you all stand? And so it is National Customer Service Week, and so there's a proclamation that you're scheduled to do at 6 p.m., but since all the staff are here now, would you mind doing that with them now?
Absolutely. Remain standing during my little, this is going to be long. This is about Customer Service Week, and our group right here is representing that. Since I'm an old chief operating officer from a company, I love talking about best-in-class service, and which is what I tried to do in the private sector and what I want to accomplish in public sector. And we've got such great staff here at the city that really embraces that goal. We've built a culture of high performance and customer-first mentality. We've been very intentional about that. And we continue to improve with a better system, better processes, and just a focus on customer being number one. So thanks to staff, and also thanks to Waco residents, because this is always an interactive, iterative process as we become better, and the customers and residents help us become better. So we're continually striving to be best in class. I appreciate the commitment. So with that, do you all want to come down here so I can present this to you, please? This is great, thanks. Appreciate you. Okay, I'm going to now read the proclamation. I, Jim Holmes, by virtue of the authority invested in me as mayor of the city of Waco, Texas, do hereby proclaim October 6th through 10th, 2025 as Customer Service Week in the city of Waco. Appreciate that. And I urge all citizens to join the city council, city staff, and me in recognizing the hard work, dedication, and achievements of our customer service professionals. Let us all commit to promoting a culture of service, gratitude, and respect, not just this week, but every day of the year. Customer service stands as the heartbeat of any organization, fostering trust, nurturing lasting relationships, and upholding the satisfaction and success of those served. The dedicated professionals who work in customer service serve as the face and the voice of the city of Waco, demonstrating patience, empathy, problem-solving skills, and a commitment to excellence each day. They play a vital role in shaping the customer experience, responding to concerns with care, resolving challenges with diligence, and going above and beyond to deliver value and support to our citizens. Customer Service Week is a nationally recognized event and is celebrated annually during the first full week of October to honor the people who serve and support customers with professionalism and pride. The theme of Customer Service Week 2025 is Service with Heart. And it reminds us that exceptional service standards beyond transactions and is about forging genuine connections, demonstrating care, and fostering a sense of community. And that's in testimony whereof, witnessed my hand in the seal of the city of Waco, the 7th day of October, and signed by all the members of City Council. So congratulations. Thank you. Here we go. All right, just in time. Should we move to the middle? Get the whole schmear.
Thank you.
Right.
Appreciate it.
Tricia? You got it?
Oh. Well, it's an honor to be here, and we certainly appreciate the support of our mayor and our council. Customer service, as the proclamation reads, is the face of the city. Many people never deal with any other department than ours in the city. So it's very important to us that we deliver that first-in-class service and that we support our citizens in trying to problem solve any issues they have with the city. So again, we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, for making that special accommodation. There are 3 informal reports today, and staff is available if there are any questions.
I had one question. Are we going to do these separately? Okay, the informal reports, I did have a question on, let me find my notes.
Mayor, do you mind if I make a note about our deputy city manager's first items while you're looking for that question? I just wanted to say thanks to the Parks team and to City Manager Bradley Ford and to our assistant city managers and our staff for a wonderful unveiling of the mural at South Waco Community Center, which was a great event, joyous and long overdue in many ways, but wonderfully delivered. So thanks to all for who made that happen. And also this last Saturday, I felt like Alice Martinez Rodriguez Parks groundbreaking was a similarly joyful affair. So thank you to staff. Thank you to this council for prioritizing it. I think that was a major event in the life of our city, and looking forward to that park being developed in the next 14 months.
And I'm going to echo everything Josh said, because it was the 2 events were amazing and just reflective of the community that we are and the community that we will be, and elevating all of the cultures that are significant in our community. I also wanted to mention on one of the other IRs about the Waco Tourism Rebranding Project. Many of you know we just underwent an amazing rebranding campaign for the city of Waco itself, but as you know, we separated our convention center into a different management team, and we've become a destination marketing organization. You'll hear DMO, that's what that is. We decided we needed to figure out what that looked like and how to be reflective of who we are to our visitors. And when I tell you it is probably Chinese arithmetic is on steroids is easier than bringing in 8 million ideas to what is Waco and what we sell Waco as, because it's more than one thing. And it cannot be drilled down into just one thing that's Waco. And so the team went out and got some amazing consultants. We had a lot of ideas come through. We threw all of them in the trash and started over again. Because if it's not right, it's not right. And like we said, cast the net on the other side. And what we did was found a way to represent our community. So that we're not talking about it here, but the information is on the agenda to go through and look at our new brand, I think it embodies our community in a way that you can place it in any of the things that make Waco, Waco, and you'll be like, yep, that's exactly right. So I want to commend our comms team, certainly our DMO team, Lisa Blackman and her team, Hannah, all of the tourism team for coming together to choose the consultants, to work through the processes and to get it right. So thank you for that, and congratulations on great work.
Totally agree with Mayor Pro Tem Bearfield on the branding for the tourism group. Just some new ideas. That it just seems like we're always coming up with good, new, better ideas. I love it. Oh, the informal report, and I think I already reached out to staff on this one, on the code, international codes, where we have a recommendation for cooling facilities capable of maintaining indoor room temperatures of at least 15 degrees cooler than the outside temperature, or to 85 degrees, whichever is lower. I think we're going to adjust that.
Yes.
In theory, if the temperature was 70 degrees outside, you'd have to have a capability of having 55 and progressively colder and colder house, which wasn't intuitive to me. So I think we're going to work to change that language. And
clarify that
Paul's nodding his head. Good. That's all I had on the informal.
There are 2 public hearings today, and Clint Peters will cover those items later in the work session. The consent agenda includes 31 resolutions. These resolutions are a reflection of the continued commitment to ensure current and future projects and programs move forward. A few quick highlights would be Resolution G6 provides a request to council to accept a donation of technology products and services for the STEAM Center from Cisco Systems, Inc. Resolution G7 authorizes actions for the Westlake Village development that ACM Paul Kane and the developers team presented at the September 16, 2025 work session, including approval of a development agreement and consent for creation of a municipal management district at the development. And then lastly, Resolution G11 authorizes the conveyance of city-owned property and federal grant funds towards the completion of the mixed-use development at the former Sanger School site. Under the amended development agreement, infrastructure will be completed throughout 2026, and then we'll see the first phase of homes start going up between November 2026 and November 2027. Galen Price, Director of Housing and Community Development, will present on this item later in the work session. There are 6 ordinances on the agenda today, 2 first readings and 4 second readings. And if there are no questions, that would conclude my report.
Any questions or comments on the work session items today? I just want to say that it's a wide variety of, it's a very exciting agenda. I encourage everybody to read the 1,000 pages of information. But to me, it just struck me that we're talking about economic development, where we have the WICD meeting tonight for downtown. We're talking about in H5 or in, got to get all these straight, there's so much going on. We're talking about the Envasis deal, 71 jobs and $117 million in new investment, which is super exciting. We're talking about housing, some cool projects, the Westlake project where we expand across the river, which with a bunch of housing. We're talking about downtown housings on the Renaissance Sanger Heights project with 25 units there. And we're talking about Baylor area housing with the PUD going in there on 6th and James. Just super exciting there. And then also, this is the time of year where we fund and demonstrate support for our business chambers, the African American Chamber, Centex Hispanic, and Greater Waco Chamber. Appreciate all their work and partnerships there. And then, in addition to that, we have people are starting to give the city stuff, which is a great trend. A&M is donating a wildfire fighting, I don't know if it's a wild firefighting vehicle or it's a wildfire fighting vehicle. One of those. Could be both. But that's cool. It's like a $650,000 unit. We're excited to accept that. And also, Cisco Electrical is donating some very integral parts to our STEAM project. So This, to me, this is a great agenda. A lot of cool stuff happening in the city. So, yeah, if you have some bedtime reading time, open that baby up. It's got some cool stuff in it. But thanks, Deidre. That's all I have. We will now go to the consent agenda, which include resolutions G1 through resolutions G31. There are actually no affidavits of substantial interest today, which is, I think, maybe the first time in a long time. But anyway, so we all get to vote on all 31 agenda items. So it includes resolutions G1 through G31. And the next item on the agenda is work session items B5 through B8. Deputy City Manager Emerson, will you please introduce the first work session?
All right, so the first work session we have is the discussion of alternative improvements for Texas Central Parkway. Charles Lease, Director of Infrastructure Services, will present today. This presentation focuses on the rehabilitation of Texas Central Parkway, originally a two-lane county road built in phases before 1970 through the 1990s, now a critical industrial commercial corridor serving over 90 businesses in the city's Texas Central Business Park. With increasing traffic and heavy truck use, beyond its original design, the roadway is showing significant pavement distress. The proposed improvements discussed today aim to enhance ride quality, reduce annual maintenance demands, and lower operational costs by potentially easing the strain on city resources. Charles?
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Honored to be here today. I feel like we've talked about streets for a few of these presentations, and those have been some marathon sessions, and we've talked about everything from funding to street design to how we select streets for our program and how we rate streets. Today we're going to try to do a half marathon, and we will talk about Texas Central Parkway. I plan to talk a little bit about the history, how we got here, and perhaps a new strategy to get this street in a better condition, some recent bid trends and what's going on in our industry, how we propose to fund these improvements, and then talk a little bit about a schedule. Texas Central Parkway is a critical piece of infrastructure for the city of Waco. It was built in the 60s and 70s. It was originally a county road, and now it serves one of our economic engines in Texas Central Park. 90-plus businesses, 14,000-plus jobs. This area expects infill in the future and expects a vehicle load of around 14,000 vehicles each day by the year 2040. Just to give you an idea on total square footage, I've got a number there, about 12 million square feet of facility space. So lots of big business for Waco, Texas. In the past, the strategy for replacement of Texas Central Parkway was a concrete street, adjusting lane size, adjusting location of utilities, quite an expensive endeavor. This is an important piece of our infrastructure, and so concrete was recommended for several reasons. Number one, lower maintenance, supports additional traffic load, and a longer useful life. However, lots of challenges with this extent of roadway. Reconstruction, around $67 million. It's a heavy lift, especially with all the other things that are going on in Waco, Texas. This reconstruction also causes some other things, and we'll get into those in just a minute. All right, Texas Central Parkway, divided in 4 segments. I believe it's Central Park to Imperial in segment 1. That's circa 1994 paving and overlaid last in 2017 and currently in a fair condition, just 2 lanes of traffic. Segment 2, we're talking Imperial to Mars. It's also in a fair condition, 57 PCI, 2 lanes constructed in the 60s, last overlaid in 1995. Segment 3 is a poor condition segment, and it moves to 4 lanes. Lots of heavy traffic. We've got some rail section in there. And segment 4 is a fair section of paving, 4 lanes as well. Looks like it was reconstructed in '86 and overlaid in 2005. Okay, so why why choose a preventative maintenance option versus a complete reconstruction? It's got a couple categories here. Number one is cost. We're looking at about a $10 to $11 million project versus a $65 to $70 million project. Number two is just competing interests. We've got, and I just listed a few of them here, several competing projects. We got Spiegelville Road, Spiegelville Bridge, we got downtown redevelopment, and there are numerous other individual street segments that the city is interested in replacing above and beyond our normal street program. The preventative maintenance option will extend the existing lifespan of the street. If you'll recall in our previous discussions, we're really wanting to take those fair streets and get the best bang for our buck and move those to a good condition. Reconstruction is great. It would reset the lifespan of this particular paving, but it's a significantly higher cost. The other things that we need to think about in terms of these types of projects are traffic impacts, business impacts. A preventative maintenance program will have much less disruption to traffic flow for these businesses. A perfect example is our Bagby project. When you reconstruct a street from scratch, you work on utilities, it's extremely long, cumbersome, and impactful to all of those adjacent homeowners, property owners, businesses. And then just timing. We talked a little bit previously about getting these streets repaired and replaced in their appropriate time, and we could take advantage of those cheaper options to get a good quality pavement. All right, what could we do with Texas Central Parkway in terms of phasing this project? So we would start with drainage repairs. Phase one, we've got a couple of creeks here. We've got some antiquated drainage structures, some undersized drainage structures that need to be replaced. Phase two, we would do a little bit of railroad work, coordinate with UPRR. And then phase three could be either a segmented or a complete paving, including some of the major intersections being done in concrete. Why would we do those in concrete? Simply because turning moments and chewing up the asphalt with heavier trucks and traffic. Okay, phase one is about $1 million in drainage work. You see in these photos on the right-hand side here, corrugated metal pipe, it's rotten and needs to be replaced. We would select materials of that have better longevity, like a concrete RCP pipe. We would have some easement acquisition costs, some design costs, engineering, and then obviously some construction costs. There are some opportunities to utilize some of our drainage funds and some other funds that we're going to talk about in a moment. Phase two is railroad coordination. We would be working with the railroad to ensure the transition between City of Waco paving and those rail beds are adequate and up to standard. Right now, this is just a placeholder. We know there's going to be some dollars associated with that communication and coordination with the rail. We're estimating $10,000, but that could go up based upon actual need at the time of design. All right, the most expensive portion by segment is selecting a pavement, either preservation, rehabilitation, and partial replacement. So we do have an existing contract. When I moved to Public Works in July of last year, we had tapped the brakes on this particular project because of the changes and the potential for a reorganization and some of the things that were, just going on with all the projects being moved into my purview. I do have some money available in that contract to pick this methodology up, this concept, and move it forward. And then you see the costs of the individual segments there, $800,000 all the way up to $4.9 million. All right, so here's just a summary of the different phases, all in about $11 million concept cost. Drainage is $1 million, railroad is probably between $10,000 and $100,000. In the street rehabilitation, preventative maintenance, about $10 million. All right, this is a slide that just kind of shows the difference between the two methodologies. So segment one, the original concrete replacement, $12 million estimate. We're talking about just less than $1 million now. Okay, now this is keeping the 2-lane asphalt-type section instead of moving to a concrete additional lane section. We're not moving utilities, we're just taking that, I believe it was a fair section, and bringing it up to a good condition. Segment 2, $11 million original cost. We're looking at about $1 million now. Again, a preservation, taking that fair street and moving it to a good condition. Segment 3 was the poor condition. It's got significantly more dollars associated with it, but again, a fraction of the original consideration for complete concrete replacement. At $21 million plus or minus, we're looking at about a $3 million charge. And then segment 4, this is where we spend a little bit more money and get some of that heavy traffic consideration taken care of at our intersections, and put some concrete intersections to get more longevity in the intersection. And then, of course, rehabilitate the rest of the paving with an asphalt section. All right, think back to our last conversation. We had this fantastic graph. I think it was the mayor's favorite. One of the mayor's favorites.
Depends on whether, if that's, if it goes down, that's good or bad. So
Okay,
this
goes
is
down.
good. It's good, so I think I like it.
All right, so if you'll recall, we talked a little bit about what the trends are in our construction industry. And in the June 19 through December 20, into December 21, prices of asphalt, this happens to be asphalt, was fairly steady. You look at that average 12-month, or moving average line, the orange line, there were some peaks, but generally it stayed about $80 or so a ton. And then, of course, we had COVID and other local, national, international issues, and prices just took off exponentially. And then sometime in 2022, they started to level out and increase linearly, and we still, into December of '24, had extremely high prices. And thankfully, there has been some easing, and that easing has been recognized not only in asphalt, but in the labor market and other materials here within the city of Waco. So we do see some prices coming down. Okay? This is a lot. I presented this slide and a little bit more to it in one of our previous meetings. And we had talked about all the proposed projects. This has been updated to show all of the executed projects. So first grouping there, bid prior to June 2025, those were already construction starter projects. And if you'll look there in the engineer's estimate, we had about $11.3 million worth of estimates. And actual bids came in at $8.9 million. So certainly seeing some potential for estimated savings there. In June, we bid 4 projects for $15 million of an estimate. It came in just short of $12 million. And you can see all the way down the list here. On the right-hand side, we had programmed about $45 million in costs. Bids received $34 million in actual cost. Now, that's not the end of the story. These are still estimates, right? These projects are just now, we just bid these projects in August and September. We're just getting rolling. We could have the potential for contingencies that are needed, or change orders that occur, or other instances where we will spend more than what was actually bid. However, there is some potential for funding here that could be utilized for Texas Central Parkway. Okay? More to that story.
That's a great slide, Charles. When I read it this weekend, I put refreshing on there and circled it many times. I mean, seeing those costs come back down in that other graph, I don't know if you learned it, the head and shoulders, sort of that. It's a correction that we're seeing that will allow us to do more with our dollars. So it's
Absolutely.
good information.
And yes, that 2222222.22 number is real. That is a legitimate number. It's what actually was bid. So I didn't fall asleep at the keyboard on that one. The other one I know that is high a priority is bridge lighting. So we are working on the bridge lighting. We did receive a bid, and we'll be talking about that in a future date. We're actually going to meet with that vendor here this week. So I know that's a big one. All right, what's also nice is Infrastructure Services working incredibly hard to push more projects out by the end of the year. So we're talking about another $17 million in October, $34 million anticipated in November, and another $4 million in December. So there's some big ones in here. Downtown Quiet Zone, I know that one's been out there for a while. And you're starting to see some of those 2025 streets. We talked about some neighborhood streets. So you'll see street rehabilitation, operational street maintenance, and pavement rehabilitation projects. Operational street maintenance, remember, we divided concrete out from asphalt operations wherever we could to get a better price, where the concrete contractor doesn't have to work asphalt and vice versa. So when you see operational street maintenance in a district, that is concrete curb and gutter, valley gutter, a little bit of ramp, concrete work. When you see pavement rehabilitation projects in a district, you're looking at pavement only. You're looking at thin overlay mixes, you're looking at mill and overlay, you're looking at some of those types of projects. And when you see street rehabilitation projects, those are the ones we really couldn't break up. So those have got a little bit of both in there, just because of timing and scheduling and how we push these projects out in anticipation of trying to get good bids. There is a little bit of art and magic to pushing some of these projects out. And into December, we've got a few additional projects there. And so we're looking to hopefully ride that downward trend with these estimates and try to utilize the differential in what our original estimate was, what the bids come in at, what we actually spend, and try to piece together a phased approach to Texas Central Parkway. And that looks a little bit like this. What are we getting for our monies? I'm gonna do a rehabilitation for segments 3 and 4 in that aerial and extend life by 8 to 10 years. Now, we would look to maintain maintenance after that and extend that further. We can't just stop. So you gotta do your crack seals, your fog seals, or whatever we need to continue to maintain that and extend that life. But we would expect at least an 8 to 10 year on those rehabilitation. Preservation, at least 8 years plus. Again, you would also do maintenance beyond that. And that would be the segment 1 and 2. Opinion of cost today, it's about $11 million. The potential funding is, again, there are lots of asterisks there that you don't see. That is contingent upon all of those dollars that we are spending in the current projects that are out and the upcoming projects that are going to come out. And then I would recommend that we immediately work some of those funds and get started on design and prep for a phased approach in the replacement of Texas Central Parkway. And I put this schedule together to just kind of give you an idea of what that could look like, showing that we would get started on that phase 1 with drainage improvements and working with the railroad, then move into our street strategies, and then hopefully go out for actual street work first part of 2027, once all that design has come in and is finished. And also we'll have a much better idea, because a lot of our other projects that are currently in construction will be wrapped up and will be financed out and know how much money is available.
All right.
Great presentation. Any comments or questions for Charles?
Yeah, I appreciate, Charles, the update on Texas Central, because I do feel like it's a pretty vital road for the economic development success that we've seen there in the industrial park and its surrounding environs. So grateful for this approach. I know in the maybe best possible world, we would be laying that concrete foundation, reconstructing the whole thing, but under these circumstances, I feel like the preventative maintenance approach is both a good practical update for this road and definitely a cost-efficient solution. So thank you for all the work you've done, and thanks for the kind of the update on all the bids that are coming in, which I think is helpful to us. So it's not knowing we're seeing some cost savings in some of our big project priorities as well. Thank you.
Charles, quick question. Can you remind me on those railroad crossings, what are they responsible for and what is the city responsible for?
We're responsible for the paving up to the railroad bed.
Got it.
So There are sometimes, their standards change every once in a while, and they require certain transitions between the city's pavement and their rail bed. We'd had to deal with that on University Parks where the rail crossed. And we'll have to do it for all of the downtown quiet zone work. So I would anticipate in this zone, similar type assessment and construction.
Is there, this question may just be for the ether. Is there a realistic time zone in that downtown quiet zone yet?
We're showing to bid it in October,
I
so
mean,
this month,
in its entirety.
in its entirety this month.
Okay.
So the one thing that we still have to coordinate with the railroad is who goes first? Do we go together? That's still in the works.
Okay.
So I would say by the end of the year, we're gonna know a price and
Okay.
probably have a decent schedule.
Nice. And and I appreciate the breakout of the intentional district street work. I hope that in some way there's like a comms plan around that so that we can do our due diligence in informing our neighbors and neighborhood associations what is gonna happen as in real time, but with prep time, so that, you can encourage people to get their minds right when the way they went home all the time is no longer the way they can go home. So I'm excited about that stuff going out, but if the streets team can get with us or CSO about how we can help you all message this work, would
Absolutely.
be cool.
Absolutely.
I just want to commend you for getting creative on getting this to a point where we can tackle it, in the relative near future to get this really critical infrastructure for a lot of, a lot of our commercial tax base out there to be able to continue providing service. When I was reading this in the agenda, specifically, Section 3, had I never gotten involved in, civic public-facing work, I wouldn't know what PCI ratings meant, and seeing a 16.7, kind of right in the middle of what really for Waco, 59.7, 57.2, and 49.3 is kind of par for the course, was really shocking. And then seeing the construction and overlay dates on that going back, 30 years, 30 plus years at this point. So just the fact that we're able to, and we talk about in these presentations, getting things from poor to good is always the most expensive endeavor that we undertake with streets. So seeing that is still able to happen, getting creative with how we're doing that and making sure that it stays a part of this overall project. Just kind of the general mindset that staff has taken this year and going forward to, hey, if we can't knock out this whole thing in one fell swoop with X amount of tens of millions of dollars, how do we eat this elephant one bite at a time? I'm really loving that mindset that we're taking to tackle these bigger problems and hopefully start applying that to smaller problems and taking smaller chunks out of things that we see throughout the city. So thank you for that.
Yeah, great. Charles, you're always the problem solver here. And I like, whenever I think of you, I think Charles is the Mikey of in the old Life cereal commercials. If you can't figure out how to fix it, you go to Mikey. You go to Charles Least. Because it seems like whenever we have a problem that's sort of complex or critical, or really we know we got to go from 75 million to preferably 10 million. Nobody knows how to do it, and you kind of jumped in and figured out a way to at least get the initial look as a very functional and showing the right direction for what we're trying to do out there on Texas Central Parkway, because that's the data you show is very compelling. 90 plus businesses out there, 14,000 jobs. And it's not just graphic packaging and Vossi's, all these new ones, but we have some old established businesses out there too that need this road to be functional so they can get to and from work. Very creative phase, focusing on intersections. I like the way you're tackling this, so I'm supportive of it. One question I had right quick, and going back to this, the one that we talked about, where we're seeing a crown here and we're coming down, we're seeing that in asphalt. Are we seeing other materials? Is concrete having the same sort of trend?
They're not all the same percentage, but yes, all of them are trending down. And I'll tell you a lot more in a couple of weeks when we bid Bullhide, what that number really looks like.
Great.
And Mayor, for those watching at home, maybe under the age of 40, perhaps city comms team could send out a link, maybe a YouTube video to Mikey Likes It, the Life cereal commercial, just so those references could be picked up by a broad cross-section.
Another old reference from the 60s that nobody knows about. Okay, Life cereal. Yeah, Life is very good.
I was like, Darius doesn't know.
Darius has no idea what we're talking about.
He was a trailblazer.
Charles is even better than Mikey. All right, any other questions on this one? Thanks, Charles, great presentation. The next item, work session B6, Deputy City Manager Emerson.
Thank you, Mayor. Jonathan Cook. Ready, Jonathan? Director of Parks and Recreation will discuss the holiday event plans for city departments along with other events throughout the city. This is an annual report that he provides us so that we can get ready for the holidays.
Thank you, Deputy City Manager Emerson, Mayor and Council. Always seems a little bit early to come and talk about holiday day events, but is it ever too early? So it might be 95 degrees outside. And so we're going to shift some gears here from Charles's presentation and talk about everything we've got going on here in Waco for the holidays. You know, as you know, holidays are a special time. Brings the community together, creates a spirit of community throughout our downtown and really throughout our city. And so we're excited to have several events and community efforts that we've started over the past 10 or so years that have really become traditions in our community. And we're excited to continue those traditions to make sure that the holiday cheer is spread throughout. So for today's presentation, we're going to do an overview of our festival event, Waco Wonderland, which will be taking place at the 1st of December, and then also look at our current plans for the downtown lighting display, and also talk about the Cameron Park Zoo wildlife display that will be taking place again this year. And then we want to look at how different departments throughout the city are spreading holiday cheer with different community events, and then also looking at just the holidays around our community. For Waco Wonderland, this is our big festival, created in 2013, that has really become a signature downtown festival for our city. It's a collaborative effort to where our City of Waco Parks team, along with all of our other event personnel from PD and traffic, come together and work with City Center Waco and the Waco Public Improvement District, and really showcases the downtown area. We like to get people not only from our community, but people traveling in to showcase what we have in downtown while they're also enjoying a holiday market and festivities at the Heritage Square area. It is funded through the Public Improvement District, but then also through local organizations and sponsorship, with the City of Waco providing personnel costs, additional revenue streams. There are ticket sales for the attractions such as the Ferris wheel or the ice snow tube hill, and then we also collect fees from the vendors who participate in our mistletoe market. I mentioned a lot of city parks do take place, or city departments come together to plan and manage this event. When you're averaging around crowds throughout the weekend, 20 to 25,000 is a lot of people and a lot of planning and efforts. And so I commend everyone for coming together each year and going above and beyond to make sure that we have a safe event to kick off the holiday season. Now, looking at 2024, I want to look back at the year we had last year, 3-day event, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we'll start off with our total visits, just over 12,000 attendees. So if you're thinking and looking closely, you say, well, hey, just on the last slide, you talked about 20 to 25,000. Unfortunately, in 2024, we got hit with some weather. We were able to have a very solid Friday night with the tree lighting and fireworks. However, cold front came in. It was raining on the morning of the parade. We had it, but it was icicles hanging off of everyone. And that misty, drizzly weather just continued But we had some diehard people that still came out. That first night, and looking at our different placement data, we had over 8,000 people for the tree lighting and fireworks, and then over the next 2 days, about 2,300 people each day came out. So that was a dip of attendance, but we still had some solid revenue that came in from the ticket sales. On the right, you see a big red dot there, sort of in the middle. This is a heat map that shows where people came from, and wanted to show we've continued to see an expansion of this event, but it's a regional reach. Obviously, a core draw from Waco, but we see a lot of regional attendance, people coming down from the surrounding communities. And then this also attracts our local community. We know that, so it's one of those sort of hybrid events to where we're starting to see that tourism and economic impact of people wanting to come down and looking for something to do with a fireworks show and additional shopping throughout the weekend. Now, specifically for this year, Weekend of Holiday Cheer is going to be December 5th through 7th. We're always on that first weekend, so we have a full month to celebrate the holidays here in downtown Waco. But we'll be starting off with our annual tree lighting ceremony, and then also our HEB fireworks show is going to be taking place on that night to kick off the holidays. We'll follow up on Saturday with the holiday parade, working with Creative Waco once again and different organizations to help produce that parade, which travels down Austin Avenue. And we'll be bringing back, I mentioned the Mistletoe Market, my favorite, all the local food trucks. I've tried to visit each one, but that's always fun. We'll usually have about 15 or so out there surrounding the square. So, that's always good to see everyone come out and enjoy. The community entertainment stage on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we have a main stage area where we have different organizations, dance groups, church choirs, you name it, just a variety of community entertainment. And that's on top of the attractions, the Ferris wheel, the snow tube hills, got 2 different slides for the youngsters and the ones a little older like myself to go down. So, we have a library, always looking to collaborate and have different people out. I know the library comes out, Pet Circle comes out, and then Santa will be making a special appearance all 3 days of the event. And we have a Santa house where people can come and take free pictures with Santa as well. Now, from Waco Wonderland, obviously, when we flip the switch and turn the tree lights on, we start off with the season of lights throughout the City Hall and Heritage Square area, also at Bridge Street and at the Convention Center. So there is coordination between City Center Waco and our Convention Center. That our Parks and Rec team works on the installation of downtown light displays and holiday decor, and also different photograph opportunities, those selfie moments. Lighting locations, we've got Heritage Square and working with our trees and the pergolas there light up. Also, we're lighting at Bridge Street Plaza, looking at, we have a tree that's been in place there and lighting of the hedge areas and looking at some expansion of some lightings for a little bit more wow factor. But it's a really beautiful site because with the white lights over there, it's definitely a nice spot. And then our City Hall, the front trees on the entrance and a tree in front of the fountain area. And then we also always place a big W and different lights around the Convention Center as well. The lighting installation is done with a contract with City Center Waco and the Sherariums Company out of Houston. That company does come in with the installation, removal, and different decor. We've got that scheduled for mid-November, so the elves will start to be scurrying around a little bit, and those lights will be up through January throughout the holiday season. You know, I mentioned traditions earlier, and right on Waco Wonderland Hill is another strong tradition that our Cameron Park Zoo staff does an amazing job with wild lights at the Cameron Park Zoo. This has now been going on in 5th year. It really showcases the zoo and Cameron Park, but just an incredible display to go at night and to be able to walk around the inner loop to where you have more than 3 million lights and 65 light displays and trees. It's really captivating, and once again, that we've seen families year in and year out, it becomes the thing to do. It is going to be open. Wild Lights will be open on select nights from November 29th, right after Thanksgiving, going all the way through the end of December. Last year, 15,000 people attended this, so a good way, a revenue stream that the Cameron Park Zoo has in place to drive traffic to the zoo even during the cold months. It includes, the event also has Visit with Santa scheduled and different activities, food and beverage options. And a cool thing that they've done now, you're able to get a combo ticket as well to where you can get regular admission to the zoo and then also get a Wildlights admission. So some creative marketing and planning going into this event. And we're always thankful they also host a city employee appreciation event to where city employees are welcome to bring their families out to go through Wildlights at the zoo. And that's a great evening. Last year we had more than 1,200 employees and their families take part in that one. Another one that's really a highlight and sort of everybody's favorite, a little department rivalry sort of kicked off and everybody pushes a little further, and I'm always excited to see what's going to come out of our holiday cheer being spread around through city vehicles. And it's funny because none of the directors really want, or the chiefs really want to let on to what they're doing this year. They're all a little secretive about it, but it's a fun program. And for those that don't know, we have staff members that decorate fire trucks, police vehicles, public works vehicles, to where they travel around the neighborhoods or schools, different events, the libraries, and they go to these different locations at night and really bring the holiday spirit to the neighborhoods. And so I'm working with our communications department. There's an interactive map now that shows the schedule of where the vehicles are, where they're going, and so you can plan out and try not to miss when they drive by. But these vehicles, it's just a small thing that makes a big impact, and kids and families love to see them. And so thankful for the city staff. They also make an appearance at the other events and different attractions. So this one's really become a great tradition of departments coming together to spread the holiday spirit.
Jonathan, I don't know if you may be at liberty to say or not, but can you confirm or disconfirm the Grinchmobile?
I cannot.
Oh.
I cannot. I do not know. I'm not going to throw that out there, but all I know, we're decorating.
Okay.
But a little switch up.
Okay.
All right, I'll keep my eye out for the Grinch, though.
Or something similar.
Something similar. All right, all right.
All right, department other holiday activities. We open our community centers up during the holidays as a place for kids to come and enjoy different activities. And also at those community centers, we have community groups come in and do performances, and other city facilities do that as well. Public Works always every year, Billy DeHart, they put together some good programs, and like their annual bicycle drive, just employees doing a little bit extra to make sure that everyone has a good holidays. Waco PD, our mobile welcome center is going to be out this year visiting the different events as well. I know they're getting ready to open their downtown location, and I know our mobile welcome center is going to be visiting all these events. And as I mentioned, the library has programming, our youth council with a holiday toy collection, and then of course, I name dropped them earlier, but if you're not giving away a pet circle animal for the holidays, somebody's missing out. So a great present always, a little holiday adoption.
Nothing like hearing a little boxed up whimpering under the tree. You know what I mean?
That's not me.
A lot of traditional events, and y'all, this is just a sample. One thing that we do is with our Waco Wonderland homepage and social media efforts, we're the first weekend, but then we switch over and make sure to try to promote different events throughout the city. And these are just some main ones that take place, like the HEB Feast of Sharing, Baylor's annual Christmas on Fish Street, the Holiday Farmers Market taking place this year. So some great partnerships and different events throughout the month. And we're squaring up for a good holiday season. Quick reminder, our events supporting a festive season throughout the city, not just in downtown, but we also have things at the zoo or community centers and different facilities. We'll be starting the installation of the lights in November. Right after Thanksgiving, Cameron Park Zoo will be opening up its Wildlights. And then throughout the month of December, decorated city vehicles will be traveling around town, and we'll be kicking off with Waco Wonderland on December 5th through the 6th for the annual tree lighting and fireworks show. And I believe we got a quick preview before we wrap it up. I appreciate it, and we're looking forward to the holidays. Any questions, I'm happy to answer them today.
Any questions for Jonathan?
Thanks, Jonathan. I appreciate it. You know, it truly is the most wonderful time of the year. And all the work that the multiple departments do to bring holiday cheer for our residents and our visitors is amazing each year. And you all outdo yourselves annually. So I can't wait to see what this year is, even though y'all aren't coming off any secrets. I do want to know, are we doing live reindeer this year?
I do think we were trying to get that arranged. I know they were there last year. So, you know, they're sort of hard to come by,
Well, I mean,
a little bit.
but
But they're great for photos.
here's the problem. See, when y'all do these amazing things, we expect you to do them all the time.
We
So,
want a dozen reindeer next year.
you know, I mean, work on phone Santa and see if we can get some reindeer to come down.
All right.
And I also did want to highlight, you mentioned the expansion of the lighting in Bridge Street Plaza and all the things. I know the holiday market that the farmers market did last year was really, really cool and amazing. And with the additional lighting, it just really made for a wonderful event. And so I look forward to that, as well as what we have in Heritage Square. And of course, all the things, I know each year my family enjoys the zoo lights tremendously, and just y'all do an amazing job. And I was at an event at Multipurpose. I can't even remember what the event was, and it wasn't a city event. And one of the trucks came by, and everybody lost their minds. So it's great to see the impact and joy that it brings throughout our neighborhoods and our communities. So thank all of you for what you do in that part.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Jonathan. I think all of us have great memories of like downtown, Christmas events and that kind of deal. And you're building memories here for young and old, and it's great. And it continues to be, as Mayor Pro Tem Bearfield said, it continues to get just bigger and better every year. So I appreciate your efforts in bringing all this to life. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Any other questions, guys? All right, thanks, Jonathan. Next item is work session B7. We're going to talk a little bit about Renaissance at Sanger Heights. Deputy City Manager Emerson.
Yes. So Galen Price, Director of Housing and Community Development, and Mike Stone, Executive Director of Grassroots, will provide an update on the Pocket Neighborhood project that has been years in the making at the former Sanger Avenue Elementary School that closed in 1974 and in 2008 was subject to arsonists who set the vacant building on fire. This is another collaborative project between city departments as well as our nonprofit groups. We are thankful to our federal partners as well as Congressman Sessions for supporting this project. Galen?
Thank you, Deputy City Manager Emerson. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. As Deputy City Manager Emerson mentioned, this is a project that's been years in the making. Today, I'm joined by Mike Stone with Grassroots, and we'll be discussing the Renaissance at Sanger Heights, which is a collaborative private-public partnership that will result in a pocket neighborhood consisting of 25 single-family homes located in North Waco on the old Sanger Elementary School site. In this presentation, we'll be discussing a history of the project, giving a project overview, the council request, next steps, along with a timeline of construction. So this project began back in 2010 with the actual purchase of the property and a demolition of the old brick school building. 3 RFPs have been issued in regards to this project. Grassroots did respond to an initial one, but their response was initially not accepted. Back in 2018, they were selected after the response with the Renaissance at Sanger Heights development. Subsequently, the city was preparing to do some utility upgrades in the area around the site. And so the city bid the water and sewer improvements for the connections for the houses that were front 17th and 18th Street as part of the work that we were doing, so not to have to dig up the street twice. As this work was being completed, additional funding became available, including ARPA dollars, which subsequently, some of that was dedicated to this project in 2023. We also received a request to apply for community project funding at the federal level from Congressman Pete Sessions. In March of 2024, we received notification of a grant award in the amount of $3 million, which is the catalyst of 14 of the homes being made affordable within this project. The city completed their infrastructure improvements, as well as a PUD being approved in 2024 as well. Okay, and with that, I'll turn it over to Mike so he can get into the overview of the project.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. It is a great day to come and talk to you about Renaissance at Sanger. Renaissance is a way to describe a rebirth or a revival, and that's what we're doing on this site of this old school. So, but I want to honor some of the hard work that's going along. There has been a lot of city staff, city managers, city mayors, and I added them all up this morning. There have been 5 different city managers, 5 city mayors, 4 city managers, 4 city attorneys, and 5 city council members that have been a part of this project. So I want to thank every one of them, starting with Larry Groth. So thank y'all all for making this, because this is not an easy project to do, and we're not there yet, but we're getting started. But at the very beginning of this, we started with a vision casting where we met with all the community members in and around there, actually right across the street from the site. And we asked one of our great partners, Walker Partners, to come and help us. And actually, Jed Walker came with his sketch paper and sketched out different ideas on what the community want. We went through at least 7 different plans on what we would do to get to the point where we're at today. I also want to highlight RBDR is the one that's been able to help take all these great ideas and then put them to light and bring color to them along the way. This is the Renaissance at Sanger Heights. So it's a 3-acre development, unlike any that you've seen in Waco. It's a very dense single-family pocket neighborhood. So you can see there's 2 large green spaces, one that runs through the center of the property and one that is anchored on the side with a historic tree. So the streets are 17th, 18th, Fort, and Sanger. It's just a little bit off of Waco Drive. And we have 25 single-family homes, and these are homes for sale, and 14 of those are going to be for affordable, and 11 are going to be market rate. So our community features that we have there, because of all the green space that we will have a homeowner association to take care of the common green area. We're going to have lots of sidewalks, some that go through the middle of the property and then that surround it as well. And I always want to, everybody asks me about the historic oak tree, and we're not doing anything with the tree. We love our tree, and we want to keep there. Next slide. So our design is 1- and 2-story houses from 1,200 to 2,100 square feet. It's going to be a mixture of sizes, and you won't be able to tell the difference between a market rate house and an affordable house from the street. And also tying our old with the new is we were able to save 500 bricks from the old school, and we're going to reuse those as the first step to every one of the houses.
That's cool.
The funding, as Galen was talking about, is layered. So the biggest chunk that we have is the community project funding grant, and we are very honored to be selected by that. $3 million is the biggest grant Grassroots has ever seen. So this is allowing us to be able to make more homes affordable. Originally, our plan called for 6 affordable homes, and now we're able to do 14. And then also the ARPA funds allows us to also use some of those funds for the infrastructure.
Will those ARPA funds, and I may have missed this when I was out, but will those ARPA funds be committed and dispersed in time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they will be part of the Phase 1 infrastructure, which will be completed at the latest of November of '26, but those will actually be the first funds used as part of the infrastructure.
Perfect. Thank you.
Good question. We are going to be doing a lot of outreach and marketing to the community, especially Sanger Heights and Brook Oaks. So those are the neighborhood associations all around the area. We'll be collaborating with all of our local affordable housing providers, all of the folks that work with low-income families here in town, trying to help more people become homeowners in Waco. Our next step in the whole project after today would be getting the infrastructure contract awarded so we can start moving dirt and making it look more like the picture that you see today. And we anticipate we'll have a groundbreaking in January, and you'll see lots of TV on social media and print to let people know what is going on at Sanger and how they can be a part of it. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Galen to finish up our presentation.
So Mayor and Council, tonight on your agenda, you have an item that is requesting approval of an agreement between the city and Grassroots for the CPF project funding in the amount of $3 million, as well as an item requesting an amendment and restatement of an existing development agreement that uses the ARPA dollars. This will align the requirements and timeline of the ARPA agreement along with the CPF agreement. In addition, there is a request for the conveyance of the property for Grassroots to be able to do the project development at this site. Now, if council approves these items, the next steps would be the execution of these agreements, as well as the commencement of project marketing and the commencement of the phase one, which is the infrastructure development for this project, the on-site infrastructure. Okay. This slide here shows a timeline of the project, which the phase one infrastructure would begin in February of 2026. And as part of that, the ARPA dollars would be used first in the commencement of that phase one infrastructure. And then subsequent CPF funding would be used for the remaining part of the infrastructure, as well as the construction of the homes, which the infrastructure is scheduled to last approximately 9 months, with the phase two, which is the construction of the homes, beginning in November of 2026. Now, each subsequent phase with construction of the homes will include the construction of affordable and market rate units in each of the phases. And with that, I will answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions for Mike and Galen?
Yeah, so thank you, guys. The $6.2 million of private investment, tell me about that. How does that work?
Well, most of that will be construction loans that we're going to have to go and get for building houses.
Gotcha.
It's not actual true investment, it's
Loans.
loans.
That's great. I say this, I feel like almost every time we talk about this project, but there are very few projects that have been on the docket since I got on council in 2020. This has been on the docket since before then. And I feel like, we get kind of updates every so once in a while, and this is the most substantive to date with hard timelines put in place. It's amazing that we've been able to increase that affordable number up to 14 units. This is going to be transformational for North Waco. The first house I ever lived in North Waco was on 22nd and Morrow about 9 years ago. So I drove by the old Sanger School a lot. It still had the archway in place every day on the way to and from work. And always thought that, that's a cool lot that's really central to a lot of things, and I hope something great happens with it. And this is certainly something great that's happening with it. So I could not be more pleased to be at this point. I'll full transparency, everyone watching and listening to the crowd, I was texting with Mike about this project recently, and I said, the biggest thing I want from you for the rest of the way is to get with me on how we as a city can get out of your way to get it done. I just want to make sure that this is done well and on time, as we are working with our community partners that are helping folks attain home ownership. One question I did have for you is, are you guys spinning up programs, currently to start working with people even now to get them in the pipeline to be able to purchase one of the homes at the time of completion? Or will it be a go-to-market and work with community organizations that are working with low-income folks at that point?
We're already ramping up as we speak. We
Perfect.
hired another housing counselor in our office who's actually Spanish-speaking, so we were able to reach both markets that way. So
Awesome.
we're ramping up.
That's
And-
great.
And I can say, just to add to that, we have reviewed a couple of applications for down payment assistance who are targeting the
Great.
development at the Renaissance at Sanger. So that process has started.
Yeah, I mean, the one benefit to this taking as long as it has and as long as it will until it's complete is that we have enough time to engage someone who maybe is starting at square zero in the home buying journey and get them to a point where they're able to, bring a substantial amount to the table to purchase the home. So that is fantastic. I love the mixed income aspect of it. I love the renderings. If in 2027, if we're kicking the tires looking to move, it's certainly on the list. We love that part of town. It's got a special place in our hearts, and obviously it's right in the middle of D4. So really, really proud of the work that's been done on this. I know that every step of the way, it's been, hey, can we get X amount of dollars from this and some money from here and there? So to be able to have it all come in place. And from the time of the project's initiation to now, we saw the chart of asphalt earlier, right? So these costs are not fixed from when you go into this and make the initial budget. So I know it's not been easy to keep things at a rate where they can be affordable. So I'm glad we've been able to come alongside these different entities to provide the funding to make that reality. So thank you for your work on this. Any way we can help in getting this across the finish line once it starts, let us know. And looking forward to turning some dirt in January.
Yeah, I go to church in the nearby area, and I've been driving by the site for those 15 years. I remember the first time reading about it in 2010. I was just a brand-new lawyer with a full head of hair. So I'm looking forward to this thing seeing completion in the next year or two. So God bless. Appreciate y'all.
Great. The renderings are beautiful. Urban housing, very important for us. It's a great location, nice design, nice price points, and some green space in there too. So I think everybody's a fan of what we're doing here. Urban area housing is so important because the good parts of it, you already have infrastructure there. You already have the roads, you already have the water, you already have utilities, and everything's in place. So it's not quite as expensive as going into the burbs. But the tough part is for a builder, it's hard to build one lot at a time because a lot of times the lots are all over the place. So this is kind of the best of both worlds where we have 25 units in one place, and we're able to develop some economies of scale for the builders. So this is very exciting, and I appreciate your energy, and Mike, I appreciate your persistence and perseverance in helping this through in Galen. I appreciate both of you guys' work on this project. Looking forward to it. Thank you. Now, Deputy City Manager Emerson, what are we going to do the work session B8? Or are we ready to, is there one more thing left?
Yeah, we have time for Clint Peters.
Okay.
It's not often that he gets to go at this time, so.
Clint, yay.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. We just have 2 public hearings tonight, so this should be pretty quick. We have one easement abandonment and then a continuation of a zoning change from our last meeting. The first one is an easement abandonment at 2500 Mary Avenue. This is the new Live Oak Classical School sports facility that's been developing over the last couple of years. There's a 10-foot electrical line easement there that they're requesting to abandon. The city staff and applicants been working with Encore. So the plan is to abandon this easement, and then there is the need for Encore to obtain a smaller easement. So that will happen in between the first reading and second reading as a separate instrument. There's no other need, public need for the easement, so we feel like it's a good idea to abandon it. Plan Commission did recommend approval of the request. And then our second public hearing is the continuance of a rezoning request at 2400 and 2416 Robinson Drive. This is about 1.7 acres right at the corner of Robinson Drive and Primrose Drive, across from the Stripes gas station. There's 2 commercial buildings on the site, and then 2 small homes on the site as well. Currently it does have mixed zoning. So C3, the front 2/3 of the property is C3 zoning, which is our general commercial. And then you see a strip of R1B single family, which is about 100 feet wide on the back of the property, the back third of the property. If you remember, at our last public hearing, the homeowner on this property that's R2 zoned came and had concerns about commercial zoning being up against his property. So the case was continued to let us work with the applicant and the neighbor to see if we could come up with a compromise on the request. So what we did come up with, the applicant has revised their request to scale back the commercial zoning and leave a 75-foot buffer of residential single-family zoning on the property between the adjacent home and where the commercial zoning is. So the C3 zoning would go away, so it would be a down zoning for that 2/3 of the property from C3 to C2, and then you'd have 25 feet of the 100-foot R1B requested to change to C2. And then you'd have a 75-foot buffer of residential zoning that could not be developed for commercial uses between the adjacent property.
Clint, was that negotiated with the parties, or is that just something that's coming out fresh, or?
So this was a revised submittal from the applicant after discussion with both city staff and the neighbor.
Okay.
I will say, it's my understanding the neighbor is still going to oppose it, just doesn't want any more encroachment of commercial zoning towards his property, which is understandable. But staff does feel that it is a good compromise, that it gets rid of a heavier commercial zoning down to C2, and then also provides a little bit more of developable area for commercial development there in a very commercial corridor, while providing, still a 75-foot buffer between the neighbor's property. Here's a picture of the commercial zone property that's already zoned commercial. This is the C3 portion where you have the 2 commercial buildings. And then if you look, this is the edge of the commercial zoning where this fence is, and then this is the 100 feet of residential zoning currently. And then about, if the revised application is approved, then 25 feet of this would be rezoned commercial, and you'd still have a 75 feet buffer of residential zoning. It is the intent of the applicant to demo these homes, so this would just be a green space buffer between, that would remain R1B between the commercial zoning and the R2 zoning adjacent to it. I will say we can't condition the rezoning, so it can't, we can't say that it's conditioned that it has to stay green space, but it would only be allowed to be developed for uses that would be permitted in R1B, which are residential uses and some low intensity non-commercial uses.
And Clint, just a quick question on those 2 structures that are to be demoed under the plan or under the intention. Are those currently vacant, boarded up?
They are currently vacant, and there's actually, these 2 houses actually went to our Building Standards Commission board last month, and there's actually a demolition order on those. So either way, these houses would be demoed.
They're going to, okay, but
Yeah.
they've kind of blighted property there.
Yep.
Sorry, Clint, will the demolition order, if not acted on soon enough, in any way impede them from being able to move forward with any other part of the project as the landowner?
No, it wouldn't, yeah. The reason why they're holding off on the demo right now is if the rezoning gets approved, they would demo all the buildings at once.
Gotcha.
Because the commercial buildings would come down too. If they don't get the zoning, then you'll just demo the two homes separately. And then just looking at the corner of that intersection, you can see, looking down Robson Drive back towards the circle, that it is a commercial corridor. Plan Commission did recommend approval of the whole request, and staff does support the revised request with the smaller request down to just the 25 feet of the R1B.
So did the compromise go back to plan, did you say?
It does not require it. So there's, because it's a smaller request, it doesn't require it to go back.
Okay.
So your options tonight would be to, obviously, you could deny the request, and it would just stay C3 zoning in the R1B 100-foot width. You could approve the original request, which would be C2 for the whole property, or you could approve the revised request, which would be the smaller C2 for just the 25 feet of the R1B zoning.
Any other questions for Director Peters? All right, thanks, Clint.
Sure.
Glad we worked you in for first time in a long time. There was only two, so I guess we had time. Any requests for future agenda items, council members? Any future agenda items we need to cover? All right, we'll now recess the work session and reconvene the regular session for executive session as read into the record by the city secretary at 4:27 p.m.
Notice is hereby given that the city council will go into executive session according to the following provisions. Number one, attorney briefing, Texas Open Meetings Act, Section 551.071, nuisance abatement regarding criminal activity and building code standards under Texas Civil Practice and Remedies Code, Chapter 125, and Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 54, and the Housing Finance Act, Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 394. Number two, attorney briefing, Texas Open Meetings Act, Section 551.071, O'Neill Perez versus City of Waco, cause number 2023-2636-4, 170th Judicial District. Number three, to attorney briefing, Texas Open Meetings Act, Section 551.071, and personnel, Texas Open Meetings Act, Section 551.074, discussion of city manager appointment process. Number four, real property, Texas Open Meetings Act, Section 551.072. Number five, economic development, Texas Open Meetings Act, Section 551.087. And number six, personnel, Texas Open Meetings Act, Section 551.074. See Secretary Michelle Hicks. We are now in executive session.